This this is a pre-recorded interview with Heather Morrison, who's the co-founder and CEO of Handi, and it's going to be part of a 6-part mini-series where we're going to provide all of our viewers a bit of guidance, some top tips and tricks on how to apply to our upcoming SIG21 program, which is pretty exciting. And this year we're calling on pretty much all remarkable change makers who are passionate about removing barriers to people with disability. Whether you have existing exciting products or you're at the start of your entrepreneurial journey, to join us and submit an expression of interest for our program, because it is something that will provide you with all you need to know and the foundations to create a successful business that's going to have a really cool social impact. And to kind of speak to that point, we're going to be chatting with Heather here. And she completed our program in SIG20, so this year. And Heather and her brother co-founded a company called Handi, which is releasing the first line of sex toys for anyone with hand limitations, and also opening up a really broad discussion about the relationship between sex and disability and breaking down a lot of stereotypes. So Heather, I might get you to introduce yourself. So if you can just let us know a bit about yourself, your career, and this amazing startup that you've founded.
Thanks. No, I think you did actually a perfect job. I'm Heather Morrison. I'm co-founder, CEO of Handi. We are a brand on a mission to put pleasure within reach for everyone, starting with the disabled community, born from the realization that a lot of people with disabilities, particularly physical disabilities, are unable to self-pleasure or masturbate, and that none of the toys and tech on the market have specifically been designed for them. But as we got deeper into this area, we realized actually there's a much bigger job to be done in addition to creating products, which is to bust through a lot of the taboos that sit in and around sex and disability and build a brand that can be a platform for people to have those conversations in a safe space and to increase the conversations around sex and disability. So it ends up being a bit double-headed.
It's incredible. And I've told Heather a few times that I'm her number one fan. I absolutely love everything that Handi's doing. So I encourage everyone to go jump online and check them out. And Heather, we know that we've got a lot of people that are going to be applying for our program who might not have an understanding of what to expect. If you could kind of sum up from your experience from the SIG20 program and give people a bit of an understanding of what they can expect from it.
Yeah, for sure. So expect it to be quite full on, but in a good way. I think we were a bit naive going into the program in terms of how much time it was actually going to take, and what we were going to learn and what we would come away with. And I think there are definitely times in the program, particularly if you're also trying to build a startup and grow that startup, and if you're also pre-revenue like we were, so you're juggling other financial commitments and jobs, etc. To be able to do all of those things in one can be quite intense. But at the end of the day, it is a bit of a roller coaster. But when you get through that roller coaster, you look back and it is just one of the most amazing experiences. I think I said a few times during the program, I both can't wait for this to be over and want it to never end. So it's an amazing experience. I would put myself through it again. Maybe I'm just a glutton for punishment. But you meet such incredible people. The mentors are amazing. Everybody around you is similarly minded in that you are all creating something to have a more inclusive world. It's not just about the financial gain, but there is a financial gain to be made as well. And the people who run the program and the curriculum is just outstanding. So I think I haven't found anything else like it world over, and the fact that it's here on Australian soil and something that we can proudly take part of is, I think, a massive win.
So amazing. And just to be someone that gets to kind of sit on the sidelines and help out where I can in the marketing side of things, it is incredible to watch so many incredible startups have an idea and a product that is a business that has potential for such incredible social impact. And it's just a really great energy to be around. So I can imagine that as a founder, it must kind of be like that times 10. So
it was amazing. Like, there's such a strong sense of community, even before you really kick off, and then definitely during the program. But now that we're many months out are we? 5 months, 4 months
Yeah,
since the program ended. There's still a really strong sense of community. Like I'm still in close contact with a lot of the people I worked with during the program, both from a mentor level, but also the other startups that you form that connection with as well. And just knowing that, you're not alone going through a lot of the questions and the problems you're trying to solve, and that there are people who have been there and done that and can give you advice, or who are going through them at the same time, who you can bash ideas around with, is something that I think you always need, no matter where you are on that journey. And so it's just such a relief, even after the program has ended, to be able to lean into that when you need to.
And it feels, for me, it felt like somewhat of a high school graduation. Although it's only 16 weeks, it feels like a lifetime together. And at the end of it, there's that real sense of, excitement, but also you get to miss people. You see them so intensely for that period of time. And you do see that a lot, to the point of everybody that enters the program comes from a background of different skill sets. And it's amazing to be able to lean into those, even in an online forum. Because in person it's a bit different, but online, I think it still opens that great kind of gateway to bounce off one another and get benefits from that. So
absolutely.
And I know the application is pretty daunting, applying for something like this. Have you kind of got any, like 3 or just 1 or 2 top tips that you'd give to people applying for the program?
Yeah, I think be really clear about what your mission or your purpose is, and use an emotional hook around that. So because ours was around sex and disability, we were able to lean into the idea that, or the fact that sexual pleasure is a human right, but it's one that's completely out of reach for hundreds of millions of people around the world. And so that's quite often how we would start a lot of our presentations. And so really leaning into the why behind what you're doing, and a larger social impact that you hope to have, versus just getting too technical or nitty gritty on the product or on the app you're building or on the idea. That would be my biggest recommendation, is just really get clear on the why and try and make it a bit more emotive versus too functional.
Brilliant. And I think part of this Push for Our SID21 campaign is we're really trying to let people know that everyone that enters our program are remarkable change makers. Excuse the use of the word, but people that are making change beyond the product that they're proposing, but discussions about inclusion and accessibility, and trying to kind of break down a lot of stereotypes. And I'm curious to know, have you come across anyone that's been a bit of an inspiration to you, that's helped drive your motivation to become one of those change makers?
Probably my brother's always been a motivation to me, and he's the reason that this entire idea hatched in the first place. So he's got cerebral palsy and has been also a sex and disability activist, taking his clothes off on the world stage for over a decade. And I think that is an incredible level of bravery. And so he's absolutely been a motivation, because I can see and I've heard through his lived experience just how sorely needed this is. And then that's been echoed by everybody, so many people that we've talked to, who've just been a massive inspiration. So the more we push into the community and talk to the community, the more inspired and motivated we become. And also the more we realize how many other opportunities there are, even just within the sexuality and sexual health and wellness space. So I'd say realistically, the inspiration has come and the motivation continues to come from the community, because you need that ongoing motivation if you're going to be a founder, because there are those peaks and troughs. And fortuitously, anytime I'm kind of like going through a bit of a trough, I'll get an email from somebody who's like, I've seen what you're doing. This is so meaningful. And that keeps you going.
It's incredible. And I think part of Handi's approach is that you are doing everything you do in direct collaboration with the community that you're helping to remove barriers from. So, and you've just released a book that I also encourage everyone to go and check out, which an incredible discussion, opening up a platform for people to voice their personal experience living with disability about their relationship with sex and also stereotypes beyond that. So Handi, an incredible example for everyone of how to.
Oh, thank you.
No, you are. How to start a movement with the people experiencing these barriers rather than for them, which is critical to what we kind of preach at Remarkable. So thank you so much, Heather. You're doing incredible work, and I can't wait to see where you go with it.
Well, thank you so much.
It's been amazing. Well, that's kind of a wrap for this interview, unless there's anything else that you wanted to include.
No, I think that's good. It's Remarkable is amazing, and it's definitely worth the application and the time that you put into the application. And even if you don't get in this year, I think, that experience of applying and really whittling down what that why is and why you're doing this will be beneficial for other applications to come in other years.
Brilliant. Well, you've helped me drive my message here. Which is, please, if you are a remarkable change maker looking to remove barriers to people with disability, we would love you to apply for our program for 2021, which is crazy to say, 2021. So jump onto our website and you'll see on the accelerator page that we have expressions of interest open. Heather, thank you so much, and I can't wait for every wonderful thing that you do in the future.